Okay, so I'm inside Trimble Reveal. I've exported the GNSS data, the .capture file. I'm going to import that into Reveal and then show you how to get your GCPs from that. So I have just a blank, a new scene in here. I'm going to import a data log. And this is going to be a file. If I was connected to a data collector, I could bring this directly from the device. I have this just on my computer. Trimble Forensics Capture, that's the .capture file. I'm going to browse to our .capture file. So this is the .capture file that I created inside Capture in the previous clip. So I'm going to open that. And it's going to create essentially two layers, the measurement layer, and then I did have a couple of photos in there, so that's going to be in the attachments. And X, Y, and Z, that is what I'm dealing with, not NEZ, or northern easting elevation. And you're going to see this quite a bit. Place baseline at scene origin, or offset baseline to the first measurement point at the scene. It's kind of up to you, but we're going to place the baseline at the scene origin, which is 000, which was essentially our first point. And you're also going to see this. So this has to do with an elevation adjustment. Since we're dealing with basing everything off of 000, if you take a position that's below 0, we're going to get into the negatives. So all it's saying is, do you want to lower the ground plane? So basically everything is above that plane. That would include the negative numbers. And that's what I prefer to do. Okay, and then I'm going to name this or save this. This. Okay, so here are my points. So essentially the same thing as what you saw inside Capture. So if we need to export these GCPs, so under this measurement log, we have an Actions tab, and then we can export ground control points. And you might actually have, a couple more points in here. It depends on how these are coded and how they're measured. I did have a 6 point in there, but that was my base. So you can easily just say what you want to export and what you do not want to export. Okay, so kind of the main purpose of this is our export type. We can do grid, local grid, or GNSS. So the difference in those, so a local grid is just going to be our X, Y, and Z. So point 1 was X of 0, Y of 0, and Z of 0. And then it goes from there. The GNSS is latitude, longitude, and altitude, or height. Very different how Pix4D is going to read these. So I'm going to do both of these. So if you select the GNSS, it's going to auto name this file. I'm actually going to rename this just so I know the difference between my GNSS export and my regular local grid export. And if we are doing a GNSS export, then we're going to need this export Pix4D calibration, because we need to do the orientation of this X, Y, and Z based on the latitude and longitude. So we will need this file as well. I'm going to export those. Export is complete. And then while I'm in here, I am going to do the local grid because I'm going to show you both ways to do this. I'm not going to call this GNSS. This is grid. Local grid, export. Export is complete. I could show you the results. Where did I put these exports? Okay, so here's the GNSS. So we have latitude, longitude, height, and then these are estimated accuracies of your point. So that's the GNSS. And just so you know, so this is it's a little bit of a confusing, but basically it's just it's a rotation or a translation from latitude, longitude to our grid values. We don't really need to interpret it. We're going to import that when we use Pix40. And then looking at the grid. Again, so our 0, 0, 0, estimated accuracies. So these are our X, Y, and Z coordinates. So I'm going to show you both ways to use these inside Pix40.